Um, we're going to start doing the homework where we have to submit it to myself, Kendra, as well as, you may be the supervisor, you can submit it to yourself. But if you're not and you have a supervisor, submit it to your supervisor. So, you can just email yourself and say, okay, I submitted my, that was supposed to be funny, but I guess y'all didn't catch the joke. So. But anyway, um, so it's exciting to be back. How many of you, just out of curiosity, had a chance? Let me see. I'm going to do a mute all. All right. Well, you know what? Instead of asking you to share, I just want to comment real quick and say I truly appreciate the homework that you all submitted. And the reason why is because it was really powerful, man. I mean, the context, the commitment that you made to it, kudos to you. I enjoy reading all of them too. And what I like about it is it shows your commitment to go above and beyond with these classes because you know how training could be. We could do training and then Nelson was kind of almost like forget everything we learn in a very short period of time. And so what the homework is all about is mastery. You know what I mean? So that we could take a piece of each of these training programs into our actual work day, which is the goal. So just want to mention that. And so thank you, kudos. Um, you know, but I would like to ask, does anybody have anything of significance that they would like to share? And we're going to jump right into the training after this. From what we've done in the last a few sessions that we had, we have multiple topics, conflict resolution, emotional intelligence. But does anyone want to share a thought or something that came out of one of those trainings that you think was worthy of sharing? It could be with a staff member or some situation you'd like to share. Does anyone feel comfortable doing that? And there's 60 plus of you on there. Somebody has to. Got to be one of y'all. I'm saying in my Florida voice. I'm new to Florida, so I'm picking up the accent. All right. Anyone?
Coach D, I'll
Yes.
go.
Please tell us who your name is and where you're from, too.
Okay, this is Carmen from Patstone, New Jersey.
Hey, Carmen.
Hi.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say, I have to be honest with that assignment. Patstone CSEP program, the Senior Community Employment Services Program, was on a pause for since from July all the way to November. And during that time was very challenging to us because we received a huge amount of calls from participants, seniors who were concerned about us losing the program. And one thing that stood with me was the listen to understand,
Yes.
not to respond.
Mm-hmm.
So we had that situation. We had to, managing the amount of phone calls that we were getting. It was challenging, but we had to listen to understand and just continue. And that was one thing that really stuck really stayed with me. And we were during that time that was so overwhelming and stressful. I
Mm-hmm.
know that the homework was to talk about, stress or self-awareness and what would cause you, what would trigger that stress or whatever feelings you had. And I had to really learn to listen to
Yes.
understand, and I really had to control the overwhelm of all the amount of calls that we were getting and the
Mm-hmm.
things that we were getting from the participants, all the things that they were going through that pause, lose
Mm-hmm.
of income and all of that, lose their loss of housing and all of that stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
I had to kind of train myself. I was bringing that stuff home too,
Yes.
and I
Yes.
had to refrain from all those thoughts, coming home. Uh,
Mm.
uh, So that was one thing, even though I didn't turn in the assignment,
Hmm.
I was
You did
training
you
myself.
worked it. You worked what you
Yes.
learned. Very good. Can we just give her a little like a heart emoji or something? Yo, I appreciate when anyone some shares because you can see the sincerity in her voice when she was sharing that. And I'm very familiar with what's going on with CSEP because I knew people at a national level that that was difficult. Funding cut, people were getting these services. It was incredible. So kudos to you for using that emotional intelligence during a very difficult time. Very
Yes, we were
difficult
concerned
time.
about our participants
Yeah.
and also concerned about some of the team members that we had to let go for some time.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Like I said, I have many colleagues that I spoke to and worked with during that time because that was difficult. It just was. There's a lot of people that benefited from that CSEP program, and then all of a sudden here we are in the space where automatically there was no funding for it. So kudos to you and your team for that. Javier, I
Thank
see
you.
your hands up. You got something you want to share? Oh, just a hand up. Happy New Year, everybody. I don't think he has anything to share. Kendra, before I jump into the content, do you have anything? Because it's been a while since we've been together. Any thoughts you want to share? And then we're going to dive
I'm
in.
sorry. I'm sorry, I'm here.
Oh, you're here?
Can
Yes.
you hear
Okay,
me?
okay. Go
Can
Sorry
y'all
ahead.
about
hear
that.
me?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead,
Um,
Javier.
okay. No, no, yeah, same thing. Listen and understand because in Alabama, we were having a little bit of trouble recruiting farm workers. So we
Mm,
had to sit down as a team and kind of, okay, what's going on? What's affecting them?
mm-hmm,
And it was creating relationships, really,
mm-hmm.
with local leaders,
Yeah.
trying to recruit. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it went from zero to we're all almost halfway through our goal
Right.
because it took time to sit down and each area is different. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what we need to understand that East Alabama is different than North Alabama, different than
Mm-hmm.
South Alabama.
Very good.
And by sitting down and kind of discussing and looking at the challenges, it really helped us, focus on where we need to go.
Yeah.
And now our numbers are way up, way
Right.
up. So
Right. That's
you know,
worthy of
it's
it.
it's it
That's awesome.
that is that understanding and listening it was very impactful to me.
I'm not saying this for any way to get kudos for me. I'm just want to do kudos for you. It's amazing what happens when we implement ideas. So I just want to continue to say as we do this training, and thank you for all the accolades for Javier because he deserves it. What you're seeing in both cases was the fruit of your effort. You know what I mean? Like you didn't just learn it, you implemented it. And I would say that's one of the keys to success with any leadership in any capacity is the application of knowledge. When I learn something. And so even if it's just one or two things I do differently from each of these sessions, that's what the homework is for. It helps you for mastery. That's all. And kudos to you, both of you, and I'm sure all of you would have something that you would want to share. Miriam, I see your hand up. Is there something you want to share as well, or you're just waving at us?
No, I do want to piggyback on what
Yeah.
both have said. I mean, listen to understand. It is so impactful for me just
Mm-hmm.
because, when you are dealing with youth, I mean, not just youth, anyone that you're bringing into the program, it is sitting there and listening. And if you don't, you're going to miss out so much of the story. And
Mm-hmm.
to me, that's what matters. That's
Mm-hmm.
why I have a job to
Yes.
understand
Mm-hmm.
what the need is. So it is very important. And sometimes I caught myself not listening,
Mm-hmm.
because either I'm short of time, because I mean so many reasons that could be,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
it is so important to listen to understand, or we're going to be missing the point.
I love it. Kudos to you. Job well done. Thank you all. And thank you, Kendra, for y'all allowing me to do this because I tell people I don't train for accolades. I train for results. Although I like to see people do stuff, and I want to see you achieve success with this work because I'm in this work because I love this work. I could be, trust me, in the last year, all that's going on, I could have been doing a lot of things. You know what I mean? I saw so many of my customers not be customers because they didn't have the funding. But I stayed the course because I realized the significant work we're all doing. So thank you, Miriam, and y'all saw a bunch of hearts and emojis going up for you. Well deserved. Thank you. And so let's dive into today's content and see where we can go with today.
Did you want me to share something real quick?
I'm sorry. Kendra, forgot about you
worries.
over in the corner.
Yes, I just wanted to say to you all, as you saw in Coach D's email yesterday, we're making some adjustments moving forward as some of you expressed a need for more structure in the class. So this isn't like a top-down change. This is a bottom-up. You all wanted a little more structure and clarity around the requirements. And we did want to emphasize that the last 3 months, even though homework was given, it was not mandatory. I too have seen the homework that came in, and it was really inspiring. So if you didn't do it, and are willing to and think that it would be beneficial to you, you're more than welcome to go back and do it. If you can't find it, I am going to re-forward all of that to you and to your supervisors just so that you have it. But again, not mandatory in the past 3 months, but moving forward it will be mandatory, and Coach D is going to make those requirements clear in his messages to you all. So I really appreciate you, Coach D, in making those adjustments because it's not easy getting feedback, but you're wonderful, and I appreciate all that you do. Also, for all the students who didn't get a chance to talk to me, I'm going to send out an email asking for your feedback and just to let us know how you're doing in the class, so that if there are further adjustments that are needed, we can make those earlier on in the year as opposed to later. So appreciate you all, and thanks, Coach D, for giving me the space.
And I'll tell you something, I'm open to, I'm not the kind of trainer, some trainers think that this is the way I do things and that's it. I'm a part of this team, and if I have to make adjustments, I make adjustments. I'm no different than anybody else. I'm just facilitating. And so, and part of that is making sure we get into the content. So let me jump into that and get the ball rolling, okay? So please have your notepads and all that out and ready to go. And we're going to jump right into motivating staff to achieve goals. You will have some time in the breakout room, but I'm going to make sure that we get through the key points of this material so that you'll have something to go back and apply. Keep in mind, with an hour and 15-minute training, we can't go too deep into all of this. This is not a full day training. This is an hour and 15 minutes. So what you're going to have to do is take notes. You will have a chance to watch the video again. But I always say with any of these trainings, always try to walk away with 1 or 2 things that could be helpful, okay? All right? And I just wanted to say this one quick little quote. Being positive in a negative situation is not naive, it's leadership. It's okay to try to bring optimism to challenging situations, And I think it's really important to understand that in the world we live in today with so much going on, we need it. And many of you have heard me talk about post-pandemic, the book, even Post-Pandemic Leadership. It's all about trying to create a culture in which people feel welcome, valued, and appreciated, and not just the clients. You know what I mean? Not just the clients, but each other. So that's me working with the Pennsylvania Workforce Development Association right there. We got them pretty motivated about some things in there. And so I hope you all understand what I mean by that. And let's kind of go on. So let's look at, the goal of trying to be positive in situation. So what we're going to be talking about in this session is really for leaders and who you're with. In other words, we want to give staff a little bit of some insight from our perspective from time to time. And we want to be, I want you to write this word down. Be keenly aware of the state of our staff. If you can say that. Keenly aware of the state of our staff. And what I mean by that is, matter of fact, if instead of me saying what I mean by that, what does it sound like to someone? You could pop it in the chat feature or anything like that. What does it sound like? And I'll explain it in just a moment. Being aware of that state, like intentionally. Because as a leader, what we're doing, in essence, is not just leading people, we're developing them. You know what I mean? We're developing them, all right, into the people that, and that's the goal. So what I mean by that statement is this. I need to, as a leader, be in tune with what's taking place with my people on a regular basis. That's all that really is, all right? And so that's what we're going to be talking about. So why does the motivation even matter? All right, I'll back off because I like interaction. Why is motivation important when it comes to dealing with employees? Anyone want to chime in? All right, and you got the material, this information here, you can take a look at it, but why is motivation important? Again, it could be anyone. I always ask these questions to get your engagement.
It's important because it's going to reflect on how they interact with their client, their participants, the relationships that they're going to build.
Yeah, there you go, Maria. I'll tell you something. I can't get to my thing. I'll give you some emojis, but you're right. See, please understand this, and I've shared this before. We ran some very successful workforce development programs. And one thing I realized was this. I play a pretty significant role in the culture of this organization, the people I'm leading. And so what I did was what Matt said here, which is good, motivated staff will perform better. You know, and like, you know, what Alyssa said, paying attention to where our staff are emotionally and relationally awareness, because we constantly say this about the clients. Wouldn't you agree? But now I'm saying, let's look at the people who are serving the clients. Javier, you had your hand up. Did you want to expound on this? Because I see you have your statement. But is there anything else you want to share? Because this to me, and tell me if I'm wrong if you think I am, is one of the most important things we can do with our organizations. Is empower that staff. Because those are the people that's in the front line doing this work.
Okay, this is Israel.
Okay, go ahead, Israel. My man, talk and jump in.
So if if your staff are not in the moment or in tune with themselves and what their job duties and their guidance are, making sure that you understand and are happy with what your job is, that will not transfer over to the customer. I used to think, take care of the customer will take care of us, right?
Yeah.
But then the reality is, if my staff are not happy and not delivering that positive experience,
Yep.
the customer will not take care of us.
Nope.
So we need to take care of ourselves before we take care of others. I become to a realization in a hard way through that. But yeah.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. And the thing is that, remember we talked one time about team building. I think if y'all recall this, and I said a team is and thank you, Israel. I wish I can get to the emojis. I can't with where I'm in this current, but you know where I am. Y'all can, I just can't maybe. But we're building something. A team is an assembled group of people. Building means erecting. We're erecting something within our organizations. And I appreciate what everybody's saying to you. Well said, Israel. And it's the truth. Because as leaders, I'm not saying that, let's say if we have a team that's not really functioning at the level which we want them to, it's all our fault. But we can play a role in developing the kind of culture we want. The type of actions we want, through our actions and through the way we interact. And I like what I have here. It says, it matter being a farm worker is hard, and it can even be depressing. These are things, see, we are in the helps industry. Workforce development in any capacity, this helps. So we're not just helping people find jobs, we're helping people. Period.
And can I make a comment real quick?
Yes, and then I'll go to you, Cheryl. I see your hand up. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, and part of I had a mentor when I first started working in nonprofit.
Yeah.
And she would always tell me, if you come with a problem, come with 3 solutions.
Absolutely.
And that motivated me because she was able to say, okay, let's do this, let's follow that suggestion you gave. And so part of leadership, and I tell my team this, I've told my team, I'm here to train my replacement. You guys are the ones I'm not going to live forever. I'm going to retire. You guys are taking over. And I try to let my team know that I'm not here, I'm here to help you progress, move up. And that motivates them because, they know I'm not here just to sit here till I'm 90 years old. But the point is, that's motivation.
Yep.
letting your team know I'm here to share my knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here to help you. I'm not going to give you solutions. You
Right.
need to give me 3 solutions.
Yeah.
That's just my point of view.
Thank you so much, Javier. On point, man. Let me say this. There's a book out. Some of you, it's an old book. You may want to think about reading it. And it talked about the 1 Minute Manager. And that book talked about teaching people how to bring solutions, not problems. It's a phenomenal book. You may want to take a look at it. Thank you for that, Javier. I appreciate it. Cheryl, go ahead, Cheryl. I saw your hand was up. I can't see
Yes,
everyone's.
thank you.
Yeah, but go
I
ahead.
just wanted to say that in my experience, if I am not taking care of myself, I can't help other people take care of
Mm-hmm.
other people.
Yes.
So if I can't transmit something I don't have, so it's
Mm.
important that our staff take care of themselves and are motivated and
Yep.
are emotionally fit so that they can take care of their customers.
Bingo. And there's going to be a slide in here where it's going to talk about us as leaders because we have to work on us, you know what I mean, in order to transfer stuff to them. Everyone plays a role in this. You know what I mean? I always tell staff, when I train staff, because we do a lot of staff training, I said, everything doesn't fall on the leader. You got a role to play in this too. And if everyone does their role well, then we succeed. But I like what Rios is saying here, and you're right. Motivation plays a significant role because we're supporting complex needs. This is not just any industry that we're working with. This is a unique industry. We all know this well because we're culturally competent, but some people just still need to learn a little bit about navigating cultural complexity. And then that's a work within itself. If anybody has something to say, I can only see about 5 people right now, so I can't see hands up for anything. So if anybody catches somebody and I miss them, please just let me know. And carrying emotional weight, the staff advocate daily for dignity, opportunities and economic stability. So these are things. This page kind of tells us why. But as Israel said earlier, when staff are motivated and supported, they build stronger relationships, deeper trust with farm worker communities. This trust translates directly into better employment outcomes, increased program participation, and meaningful impact on family lives. I'm going to say this, not just in farm worker programs, in workforce in general. Because my program wasn't a farm worker program. It was a general program. And this applied to our work as well. Okay? Thank you so much for your input on that. So motivation is really something, and there's all kinds of components of it. Motivation plays a big role. It's huge. It can't be assumed or left to chance. And the big part of that is the work is demanding and the challenges are real. As was earlier talked about with the CSEP program being financially, and that wasn't the only program. They just reinstated Job Corps. Job Corps went through some stuff, and they were going to pull the funding for that. So funding was being pulled for everything. But now, thank goodness, it seems like it's looping back around. Thank goodness for those folks who advocated to fight to get these dollars back into these good programs that you all are serving. So kudos for them. And so as a leader, sustained motivation is one of their most important responsibilities. And I mean that with all my heart. Creating stability in fast-changing environments, reinforcing purpose during challenging times, and supporting staff who supports others. All right? Your people are giving all the time, and so are you, as Cheryl was talking about. So they have to be strong, and we need to be strong. Okay? All right, so motivation must be reinforced intentionally. Please write that word down, intentionally. Other words, when we talk about motivating our staff, it should be on the forefront of our minds in each of these unique situations that we have. When it's hard and sometimes our outcomes aren't even always visible, we need to have something to be able to encourage that person during that time. Okay? So it's kind of a leadership responsibility, but the overall motivation from an organization standpoint is all of ours. You know what I mean? But we can be the one that kind of stoke the flames of it, Okay, so, what truly motivates staff in the programs? I mean, these are all things the service and advocacy. When you talk to people, they're always talking about how they're advocating for people and they're standing for people. And, it's kind of like in the DNA of people who do this work. We care about people. How many of y'all agree? Can I get some thumbs up for that? I mean, we do this because we're not doing this because we're trying to become the next super millionaire person, because that's not what we do in this industry. We here because we care. Would y'all agree with that? We care, man. We do. And so we know our people care too. That's why they're here. You know, um, Witnessing real impact, those success stories that you get. It's just powerful that with these success stories and personal growth and stability. So now the staff is looking at, hey, I'm growing as a staff member. Um, I always enjoy hearing when you know, share stories of a successful staff member because of your implementation as a leader and how you interacted with them. You know, so effective leaders take the time to understand what drives each team member individually. Please circle that word. And then I will ask you a question. And then we're going to dive into a breakout room because I want you to elaborate on this for a few moments. What does it mean to motivate the person individually? What does that mean? And why is it important? And anyone feel free to jump in. There's so many people on this call. I see you, Carmen Jones. I'm about to call you in.
Coach D,
Yes.
I think motivating people individually is based on personalities
Yeah.
and differences of perspectives and receptiveness to conversation.
Yes.
We all have different abilities. We all have different aspects of our work that we strive or we're good at, and some of it that we need to work at. So you can't just brush the everything with one stroke.
Yeah, you can't. Sure, I got your question. Unfortunately, this is kind of the max of what I have with these slides. I don't know if anybody, it seems like they're coming through small on your end, but you'll get the video, and then what I'll do is I'll do a PDF, so you'll have some of this, because for some reason it seems like you may be having a hard time. So thank you for that. I appreciate that, Israel. Anybody else? Come on, Carmen. I'm gonna pick on you because as I see it's looking right at you. Why is this, individual motivation important? You think when it comes to people?
I think it's motivating to care about helping others or contributing to a bigger mission and
Mm-hmm.
allow your team workers to feel motivated when they see how their work makes a difference.
That's huge. Okay. And Brittany, Wendy, I'm gonna start calling some of y'all. I'm just gonna mess with you. What about you?
I just hopped on. You asked why is it important to us? Is that what you asked?
No, why is it important for people to be motivated on an individual basis?
Well, we have to be motivated ourselves and be the best version of ourselves in order to be able to
Yeah,
assist others in what we do day to day. We can't
that's
pour
yeah.
from an empty cup, I guess, would be a way
that's
to
that
simplify.
that's my self care message to the
For
max.
sure.
We do have to. Thank you so much, Maria. You had your hand up. What are you thinking?
Yes, I just wanted to share. I think that the people that work in workforce are people that are passionate about the job that they do.
Mm-hmm.
Like the people that have been here for so many years is because they really love what they do.
Mm-hmm.
When we're motivated, we motivate the team,
Mm-hmm.
but the participants can also see, they see our attitude, they see
Absolutely.
we're happy, they see we're positive,
Mm-hmm.
and they see that we love what we do, that we
Mm-hmm.
speak about our job and what services we offer, and
Mm-hmm.
it rubs off on them. So
Big
I
time.
think it's important for us to be motivated as a team, to help each other out, because this is not an easy job. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
we have good moments, but sometimes we have difficult moments.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we have success stories, and other times we have success stories that take us a long time to get there.
Yeah.
Um, so I
Mm-hmm.
think it's important to be motivated ourselves,
Yeah.
to motivate our team also. And like I said, I think the participants can read us.
Oh, they
So
can.
if they see
They
that,
can.
we're just doing it for numbers or for whatever, they're gonna read into it and they're not gonna be committed to the program. Like
Mm-hmm.
I tell my staff, we have to believe in the program ourselves. If
Bingo.
we believe in the program, then we're able to
Mm-hmm.
like sell the program, like offer the program out
Yeah.
and speak positive about the
I
program.
love that. Love that. Thank you so much. Like I said, I can't get the emojis or you'll get one. But I'll tell you this. I have one thing y'all don't know is we don't just do this kind of training. We do client training. So we have a thing called Success in the Workplace. And so most of it's virtual now because of the times we live in, but we do these bi-monthly client job readiness motivation trainings. And clients will tell you how they feel about things, not in a negative way. Usually they're pretty positive, but they'll say that the way I feel walking into places does make a difference. I've heard that we've trained thousands of clients and you hear it over and over again, both live and virtual. And so the culture does play a significant role on how that client is going to perceive your organization. When I was in New Jersey one time speaking for an organization called GASETA, the Garden State Training and Employment Association, I was one of their speakers. And prior to my closing keynote, I was sitting with a bunch of directors from different sites in Jersey, and they had people who were clients of the different sites throughout the state stand up and share their thoughts on the program. And let me say this was so important, and as leaders we need to understand. When they shared their thoughts, they always talked about people within the organization. Miss so-and-so, Mr. so-and-so, Mrs. so-and-so. So in essence, the person, and this is important, represented the organization to them. So, it's important to understand that each one of us are not just ourselves, but we are Pathstone, or we are, all of the different organizations that we have here. We represent them. And so why we want to create that culture, because we're actually representing the totality of who we are as an organization. So thank y'all so much for those comments. Let's move on for time's sake, okay? All right, so the first strategy here I want to talk about is, we talked about this, is learn individual motivators. If we're going to motivate staff, what motivates staff on an individual basis? Now, I'm going to do something. Take a screenshot of this page, all right, real quick. I want you all to get that. Ask staff what keeps them committed. Have a conversation every now and with them about that. Listen with cultural awareness. Again, this is not a big deal. I just had this in here because it's so important nowadays. I'm about to do a few trainings with some groups like similar to yours that want to train on this a little bit more. We're going to do some training on it because it's important. And avoid assumptions. Don't assume motivation, everyone is motivated by the same things. Because people aren't. Some people may be motivated by finances, some people may be motivated by. So let's make sure that we understand. So what I want to do, because I think it's good to get at least one breakout room. This is going to be a short one though. So I want you to go into this breakout room. And I'm sorry I don't have, Shannon with me right now, and I'm in between people, but I can set them up. It's not that difficult. And we're going to go into the breakout rooms. We're going to set you up with about 60 people, 62 people. I'm going to do about 12 rooms. And then talk about what's important as it relates to individual motivation and maybe something you do. We're going to take probably about 7 minutes. All right, so it's not going to be long. And just kind of have a general conversation. And for those of you who are not on screen, please come off screen and engage in the conversation. It makes it easier for people. So I'm setting up the breakout rooms. You should be receiving them. And then again, about 7 minutes, come back out. But what do you do, and why is it important to look at those individual motivators? Okay.
Okay.
Hello, welcome back. Hey, Sandra. Good to see you. Diana, Dinah. We got Diana, Diana. Got Carmen, Jessica, Zach. What's up, Zach? I like that beard, man. I can't never seem to grow one of those. Dude, man, I just can't. Hey, Jessica Gonzalez, good to see you. I just like to say names, Desiree Houston. Brittany Windley, good to see you again. Jesus, Olga, good to see you, my friend. Jody, I just want to let y'all know I see you. I just want, doing these trainings. Barb, all y'all. All right. Does anyone Would anyone like to share some thoughts, like just a quick, just maybe one person, because I want to stay with the content and I want to keep moving forward. But anybody want to say what was discussed in your breakout room? And I know it wasn't a lot of time. Unfortunately, with these short sessions, we don't have. But any thoughts or feedback from what you learned in there? Just raise your hand or just jump in or, you know.
Coach D, I would like to volunteer Carolina, one of my staff members.
Okay,
He was in my
Catalina.
group.
Okay, Catalina, talk to us.
Hello, everyone. So a little of what we discussed in our group was a little bit regarding, um, like that individual motivators regarding like when specific staff are just the age gap within staff sometimes, like
Mm-hmm.
they're very different compared to maybe someone who's older, they have different individual motivators, and then someone who's younger have a different motivator of kind of why they enjoy doing their type of work or just being a part of the program and assisting clients. So there
Mm-hmm.
was just something that like a lot of our group
Mm-hmm.
shared regarding how they had to adjust and how they also provide the support for the just the younger generation to feel motivated and
Mm-hmm.
share
Mm-hmm.
their thoughts.
Yes, absolutely. Very good. Let's show some emojis going in there. Very good. Let me tell you something that's huge, and you all know this, so it's not new. The age thing is huge. It's just huge. And if you operate in a certain mode based upon where you are age-wise and don't know the shifts that have taken place with this generation versus previous, that's very difficult. Because the younger generations they're not my generation. They're not. How many have kids? All right. How many of your kids are a little different than you were growing up? Yeah. There you go. How many know that even with your kids, they all need different motivation? Can I get, one kid is motivated by something else, and one kid, y'all know what I'm talking about as parents. And so you can tell one kid, go clean your room. They're like, yes, Dad, you're the greatest dad in the world for asking me to go clean my room. Then you have another kid that says, why? Because I said so. No, but it's the differences in people. And that's not actually necessarily a bad thing. I think we all have different unique styles. So thank you for sharing that. And I think that's something we should all be kind of aware of on a consistent basis in order to, I'm sorry, I just lost my PowerPoint. Where'd that go? And understand the individual, I'm sorry, this is really acting weird. Just 1 second here. I got the PowerPoint, but then I lost y'all. Okay, all right. Let me see if I can get this up. Go ahead, I see a hand up. Anybody want to share real quick while I work through this technical difficulty? Someone else want to share? Okay. I don't know, for some reason this is really acting up and I don't know why. Okay, here we go. All right. Okay,
Yeah.
Diana
Maritza has an interesting perspective.
yeah, that's what I want to hear from. That's what I'm looking. I'm trying to get it. Go right ahead, Marissa.
Hi everyone, my name is Maritza. I work at Oregon Human Development Corporation. And in my group, I mentioned how in our Hood River office, the motivation is that we all went through the NFJP program, all the hires, the case managers. And that is with lived experiences, their motivation is we've seen them. We know the conditions that they work at. We know where they come from and how it starts, right? So that's our motivation to our clients.
I love that. That's good. There you go. You see, and so I'm not familiar with that, what you're saying, but it's just those little things, those little extra things, put you in a different perspective than when you don't have them. I think the underlying theme here is, we just need to be working on enhancing these areas. Could y'all see this? Okay, y'all see it all right? Okay, good. Okay. So thank you for that. I really appreciate it. I appreciate your input, and I appreciate all your input. This is really good. So number 2, just really connect daily work to community impact. Like try to find ways to say, okay, what we're doing is making a difference. That's all this really is all about. Now, I'm going to give you a little something I think that's important for even staff to think about today. And that is, tell staff to collect success stories. Just collect them. Collect them. Maybe have the person write it up, or I don't know if it's legal to videotape them sharing it. I don't know. but collect success stories because success begets success. And the more we hear these successes, the more naturally motivated we become. And then also we get to share them with our peers. And another reason why I think it's important to share success today is because of all the regulations that are out here today. So when people are coming in and saying, what are you doing? You have 7, 8, 9 different examples of what you're doing in your position. So you're not just sharing your job, you're sharing the impact of your job. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? Which I think has more meaning. Israel, you had your hand up real quick? I saw.
Well,
Yeah.
I was just going to say my staff, was in my group, she brought that up, which is uh, uh, seeing success motivates me. So that's another motivator is being able to see people succeed and being able to see that my job and what I'm doing helps me is part of my motivation.
That's it. Yeah. I mean, and who's not that? It's like being an athlete. When you score, you're excited. You know what I mean? And if you play a game and you're 0, you don't see too many motivated athletes at 0. Like, we didn't score a point today. No, you want to score. So for us, scoring is getting people jobs, changing people's lives, seeing folks take that next step. That's our score. That's our touchdown. That's our basket. That's our soccer goal. That's all of it. All right. So again, you as well as staff share success stories. I think we don't do too good of a job of that in this industry. I think success stories come in and we just let them just fly by night. No, share them. Like I was saying in New Jersey, how they had those 6 people get up and share how the organizations helped them. Those were 6 success stories. Okay. Connect tasks to people. Help staff see their paperwork, outreach calls, and follow-ups. I like doing case note training because I always tell people you learn a lot by doing case notes. Because case notes are like a way of you connecting with that client. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And so don't look at case notes as a task. Look at it as a way of connection. You know what I mean? Because some people look at it as like laborious, but it's not. It's really something that could be beneficial. Then you have something to go back to. So take those case notes really seriously, okay? And I think this second one would really, it helps with the second one. Connect the task and remind staff of their purpose, why we here. How their work supports dignity, opportunity, and economic stability to the country's most essential workers. You've heard me say, I'm a byproduct of workforce development. My mother was impacted. She landed a job with the airlines, changed my life. I saw that. I said, I'm going to be a first generation college student. Guess what? I did that. Why? Because the workforce program in Syracuse showed us dignity and respect. And if it wasn't for that, I would not be here training you all right now. I'll be brutally honest. I'm serious. Because once my eyes opened to, I can do this. Oh boy, that changed everything. So that's why I said that one workforce program in Syracuse, and his name was Mr. Head. I remember he was the executive director. If it wasn't for him, he passed away several years ago. Coach D. Andrews would not be sitting here training you all. So years far-reaching impact. So remind staff of their purpose. And then set clear, achievable goals. It's good to sit down with staff and have goals. What is a goal for you in this position that you have? Be willing to make adjustments when things are a little bit intense, and celebrate progress a little bit, one step further, a little bit further. All right, not just outcomes. A lot of times people feel as though the only thing they're awarded for is outcomes. But you did this a little bit better. I like what I saw. Job well done. You see? Job well done. Do y'all agree with that? That's it. And and so I see it. I just kind of caught something. Javier said that WRA paid for his bachelor's degree. Beautiful, man. I love that. 2 thumbs up, even though I can't get to my emojis for you, man. Don't tell me this work doesn't make a difference. So I know. I said I wasn't going to do much of these because I'm trying to change my flow a little bit, but I got to do one, y'all. I'm sorry. I just got to do one. And I hope I don't, but I'm going to come off of this for a second. All right. All right, let's go to that chat feature and get a little quick Coach D motivation before we go to the next few. Put in that chat feature, all right, we are all that. Go ahead, put it in there real quick and then say that we are all that. You are making a difference. Come on, y'all, just type that in the chat feature. We are, if you don't want to put we are all that, you can say we are making a difference, all right? If you don't feel comfortable saying that, we are making a difference. Remind your staff of that on a consistent, look at that. I love y'all that's doing this. Some of y'all probably don't like all this motivational stuff, but I just got to do it. It's just in my DNA. I'm not going to do it as much as I used to, but I'm going to do a little bit of it. We are making, oh, I like the T at the end, Cecilia. That's a young person thing, period. That's what my daughter Sophia said. She says, period. Come on. Because if you don't celebrate what you're doing, where does the energy come from? We are making, thank y'all for doing this with me. I was like, okay, I'm kind of toning down on this a little bit because I can go, we can have y'all doing this the whole session. And I know this is not all y'all style, so I got to make sure I stay connected to all the different, but you are making a difference. Boy, just about all of y'all did that. Thank y'all so much. Appreciate y'all. And just about all of y'all here. Thank y'all for that. Well, I know how many people we have registered. You know, we are bad. Come on, Sandra, I like that. Bad in a good way. All right. So back to back to the regularly scheduled program. I just had to get one of those in, y'all. Thank you for going along with me. All right. So set those goals and realize you can hit them. I'm going to tell you why, and your team needs to know that they have time. Set milestones, track progress. Like, don't just give people goals and leave them hanging. And then come back at the end of the month saying, did you hit them? See how they're doing, analyze their progress, and then help them understand we're doing this to help you win. I'm not doing this to monitor you. I'm not doing this to intimidate you. Like what I said about homework. I'm not doing this for sake of compliance. I'm doing this because homework, I'm telling you, it makes a huge difference in mastery. That's all. It doesn't seem like this, well, it's just something we got to do. No, it's not. That's not just that. Okay? And so I love setting goals. I always sit down with my staff once a month and talk about goals. At least once a month. It wasn't long, 15, how you doing with yours? How's it going? What do you need help? How do you feel like you're doing? Kept that in front of them. 15 minutes, consistent basis. Okay? And because you know what goals give you? An aim, a target. So it doesn't have to be a lot of them. It could be client connectedness goals. It could be placement goals. It could be whatever goals you choose. But let's give the staff something to go shoot after, And so that's the third thing I want to mention today. And we got a couple more. And then recognition. I think recognition is powerful. You know something I like? Let me give you an idea that I used in my organization that really helped. It was a thing called a kudos board. It was a big board that we created, all right? And then, like with so many people being virtual, if you don't have a kudos board, maybe something you can do virtually. But just recognizing small efforts, you know what I mean? And what we would do is, I'm old school, but we'll do something on 3x5, like a little card, and post it up. Hey, Sonia, you did a phenomenal job in the report that we got. As far as the clients you were working with, job well done. You know what I mean? Job well done. Thank you for making us look good. I was overhearing you interact with someone, and that person was a little bit difficult. But I noticed you use a little emotional intelligence and shift the conversation and not allow that person to dictate the culture of that meeting. Job well done. See, just little things like that make a huge difference. I have one customer that we work with on self-care. It's kind of cool what they did. I didn't ask them to do it. They just came up with the idea. So we trained them for like 3 or 4 months. We did monthly self-care training sessions virtually, weren't long, 30, 35 minutes, and we broke everything down. They created a self-care, what they call it, a self-care employee of the month award. And they just recognized people who took self-care seriously, And then they would give them out, and then they just so little things make a huge difference. You know, honor behind the scenes work. If somebody's helped somebody else, or somebody volunteered to be a part of a committee, things like that, then let's recognize their efforts. Okay? Honor behind the scenes work. All right? And that's something that's not easily measured because we don't talk about it that much. Acknowledge effort and consistency. All right? Daily effort. And the consistency staff bring the challenging work. Okay? Keep in mind what we started out. Remember when I first talked to you about motivation, we got one more thing we want to share with you. So we'll go back through these again just so that make sure, and then we have a homework assignment. But write the word motivation down into 2 words. I think I did this once before, but you may have forgotten it. Put the word motive, write down motive, and then write down the word action. Okay? Motive and action. There you go. Thank you, Anita. I respect your. Thank you, Javier. I just saw what you just said. We appreciate your motivation. Do not change. I'm gonna try my best, man. All right. Thank you. Motive and action. Now, the word motive. All right. I want you to hear this. Is an inner state. An inner state that's driven by a goal. Please write that down. A motive is an inner state that's driven by a goal. Other words, one of the root words of motivation is motive. What's the motive for my work today? What's the motive for this project I'm working on? What's the inner state? What's going on here? What's the goal? I'll say this as simplistically as I can. One of the things we talked about was setting goals. We don't realize when we set goals, that's actually motivational. Because we're going towards something that produces an outcome that's motivational. The word action means movement towards something. So action is about movement. That's all it really is. So, I'm going to give you a new definition of motivation. Write it down and don't forget it. This is Coach D stuff. So if you use it in a presentation, don't act like it's yours. Israel, don't you share this like you. I'm looking at you, Javier. I can see you. Don't you dare act like you came up with this. Ooh, I came up with this great idea today. All right. Motivation is movement towards a goal. Internally. See, we experience it externally, but it's in us internally. So when we see an athlete produce at a very high level, that athlete has won that race 1,000 times in their mind. They've played that role out 1,000 times. When you see a great performance with an actor or actress, they have played that skit over in their head 1,000,000 times. So they're now motive action to go out and do it. And then we call it, the Emmys and Oscars and the Olympics and championships. But that athlete won that championship long before they won the championship. So I want you to understand motivation is not just fluffy, flighty stuff, and it's good. I like motivation. As you know, I love it. But motivation is really connected to action, to goals. Okay? Just wanted to give that to you one as a leader because that's what we're trying to pull out of our staff. What's the motive? What's the internal thing? And how do we put action to that? Okay? Let me go to this last one. Before I go there, because we got a few minutes and we're almost done, what did I just say to you? Because I want to make sure you got this because I don't want to just rush through this stuff. What did you get from what I just said as a leader? And what role can it play in you and your leadership, what I just shared? Because I think, and I'm telling you this because, to be honest with you, we created something called the Motive Action Framework. And I would love to get your feedback. Kind of be a little research for me. Because we're now starting to train on this because we realize this is a process. So what did you just hear? And how could it be relevant to you and your leadership work? Anyone?
All I heard is you got to have fire within,
Yeah, it's got to be internal. Yeah.
internal, in order to, and then
Mm.
Lead by example through that.
Very good.
So yeah.
Yeah, very good. All right, Miriam, what do you think about that? Just talk about, because what did you get from hearing that? The motive, the framework of motive action, or what the
I
concept?
really, I really like the part about sharing the success stories.
Yes.
Because it's easily, when we get in a rut, I mean, we easily forget all the positive work that we had done. And then something happens and we're like all negative and all. So it's so important to keep in mind the hundreds of success stories that we have in one hand
I love that.
versus a negative one in the other.
I couldn't have said it any better. You know what I mean? That's really what when I'm working with y'all, that's the ultimate goal. Listen, can I give y'all an assignment sometime? Have people write down negative thoughts, right? Like they have for the day. Write them down on a piece of paper, then ball that paper up and throw it in the garbage can. Don't let it win today. How many of listen? Okay, I'll put both my hands up. How many of you have had negative thoughts in your lifetime? And how many of you those negative thoughts won a few times? They won. Try being married for 32 years and watch what happens. You know? My wife and I are not always like madly in love with each other. I'm just being real, y'all. Sometimes we have our moments, but then sometimes we have to say, you know what? Not today. We're going to love each other. We're going to show compassion towards each other because we're going to work on it. That's all I'm trying. So thank you so much for your answer. Javier, did you have your hand up? Because I'm going to jump into this last one real quick. I thought I saw a hand somewhere. Mm-hmm.
No, sir, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay,
Never
you're
mind.
good. Okay, good. Okay. So I hope y'all getting this, what I'm saying. I ran a 100-mile race, kept telling myself, come on, Jody, 100 miles? Oh my God, you're my new, oh my Lord. Woo. Is that the homework? Write down negative thoughts and throw them away. I should make that the homework. Make your daily responsibility to take every negative thought and just ball it up. That's to add it to your homework assignment for the next 2 weeks. Thank you. I appreciate that, Jesus. That's now part of your homework. Okay? Because we can't let it win, y'all. Because it will. If it hangs around up in here long enough, then next thing you know, it's going to manifest in the way we communicate and all of that. So, y'all, okay, you see, let me get back on. Okay, let me get back on course. Okay. All right. So that's that. And then reinforce motivation consistently. That's kind of what Miriam was talking about. You know what I mean? Just regularly check in with empathy, encourage during setbacks, model resilience and commitment, and consistency from leadership creates stability for the team. This is how I lead. I had a chance to sit down with this coach named Tom Osborne. He was the coach of the Nebraska football team. He and I were speaking for the 4-H national meeting, which was incredible. I just to speak at that national meeting, I couldn't believe it because I know how powerful 4-H is. And they had me there speaking to people on how to motivate their young people. And he was there because he was Tom Osborne. He could speak on it whatever he wanted to. But when we were in the green room, could you imagine I had a half an hour with this great coach in the green room. And he said, and I asked him, I said, Coach, what's your greatest leadership lesson? Because I work with people all over the country. What would you say to me? He said, Daryl, he said, there's a lot of lessons when it comes to leadership. He said, but the greatest thing a leader can give their team is composure under pressure. If we're winning the game, if we're losing the game, it doesn't matter. I'm composed. And he said this. He said, because your team is always looking at you, especially in times of pressure. And the way you respond, the way you react. Man, I was taking so many notes, I was burning my pen up. For those of you who don't know, this is one of the greatest coaches in college football history. He coached Nebraska to like 1 million championships. And but that's what it's all about. And now John Wooden of UCLA used to always say, I gave you this word called, he used to call it customized motivation. Motivate all your players differently. You see? Yeah, that's it. And I appreciate your comments in here to avoid burnout and all that. You got some good stuff, in here. Okay, someone has to run. I get it. Okay. Yep. Look at that. Somebody put his record in there. Jesus, 255 and 49 at 8 point. Jeez. I knew he was good. I didn't realize it was that good. But man, can you imagine having some time with a person like this? So we're coming to the end, and I just want to, give you, we're going to do this balance and motivation, accountability, set clear expectations, provide guidance, not pressure, and address challenges early and respectfully. In other words, don't let things linger, then deal with them when they get to a point where you now have to be really intense. Recognize things early with your staff and say, hey, I noticed that this may be going on, and let's kind of see what we can do to address this in a respectful way to help you achieve, So set the clear expectation, provide guidance, not pressure. Nobody produces well in pressure. Nobody does. And so accountability builds trust when it's paired with understanding and support. Okay? So there's nothing wrong with having high standards, but we need to know how we're interacting with folks. All right. And lastly, it starts with us. We need to know that we're leaders. We got to know that we can get the job done. You see, do I know what motivates my staff beyond the job description? How do I support staff during high stress seasons? And how often do I acknowledge the emotional labor of this work for you? All right? So you got to do some self-care for yourself and take care of you, because you're just as important as everybody else. Okay? Somebody said this a little bit earlier. Before you can motivate your team, you got to motivate yourself. Somebody said that a little bit earlier today. All right? So I'm here with you. I care about you. As a person, as a leader, as a human being, and as a person, a fellow colleague in the helps space. And as we come to the end, we're going to have a 2-week homework assignment. We're not going to do a month anymore. Okay? What we're going to start doing is things will happen within a 2-week period. It's simple. And I'm going to send you these, you're going to get this information, so don't try to, you'll get this in like 5 minutes. I'm going to send it to all of you. All right, for your homework. So time commitment may be 10 minutes a day. And then the big focus is one intentional interaction with a staff member each day. Meaningful, focus, and purpose driven. That's all it is. Nothing intense. All right, so, days 1 through 3, don't do it. It's 14. It didn't count for weekends. So you don't have to do this on the weekends. So let's, instead of 14 days, we'll make it 10, okay? But have one-on-one conversations with different staff members. Ask what motivates them in this work and what keeps them committed. Listen without judgment and take notes. Connect one specific task or project to a real impact that it's having. Share a story or outcome that illustrates why the work matters. Identify and acknowledge effort, consistency, and behind-the-scenes work during challenging moments. Make recognition specific and culturally aware. I know this text is small, so I apologize. This is small. Small to me. And we're going to work on making that better moving forward. But you'll have this, so you'll be able to see it. Work with a staff member to set one realistic, achievable goal. Break it into clear steps and establish how you track progress together. And then, as you come up on day 10, not 14, review what you learned over the past 2 weeks. What worked? What felt challenging? How did you continue these practices going forward? Recommit to consistent leadership. Okay? And so I will send this over to you immediately. And so you'll have these two. And just, something you can just write down, jot down, work on, and things of that nature. So that's your homework. So I'm 1 minute over. I apologize for that. But thank you all for today. I'm making some adjustments in my presentation. So I'm a little bit over, but was this a good flow? This good enough flow, y'all? You like this? And I'm just going every now and then have to slide some of my Coach D motivation in because I want y'all inspired in your work. Thank you for all these thank yous. You guys are the best. I couldn't wait to get back to doing this because I miss y'all. I said I miss my dream team, even though my folks in Puerto Rico still owe me some food because I was there and y'all didn't come down to the boat and bring me none. Look at my folks in Puerto Rico looking at me with that look on your face. You feel guilty. And any questions before we go? Kendra, do you have anything you want to share? Are we good?
Nope, we're good. Thanks,
Okay.
Coach D.
You got it. You guys are the best. All right, I appreciate you. And I'm just going to leave you with go forth and lead. Thank you all so much.
We will get an email, right? With
Yeah,
those,
you're going to get that in a minute.
Okay,
I'm going to send it to everybody in a minute. If you don't
perfect.
get it, thank you, Barbara. Great training. So you guys are going to be, I'm telling you, y'all making me feel so good. I appreciate what y'all saying here. I just want y'all to be the best you can be. So yes, Ezra, you're going to get that in like 5 minutes. Okay? Thank you all. Bye-bye. See ya.